You have hands, you have eyes, you've got legs. Start somewhere. For you to get somewhere, you must start somewhere. You can't start with an excuse and expect to get somewhere.
Welcome to the Motivational Maniac podcast. I go by the name of Koyana. This is yet another lovely episode as we take our journey through the concrete jungle. This is a place for my thoughts and everything that I do go through actually to live. We have to understand that each and everyone's journey is unique, and if you do want to empower yourself, make sure that you're always availing yourself to the utmost best that you can do. Fundamentally, this was recorded on the 23rd of June. This is the first month of the winter season that we have faced in the southern hemisphere, and I think one of the things that makes me glad of the journey that I took is the fact that I meet such amazing individual. I'd like to welcome yet another important person throughout my journey. Where do I even start with this one? I have to acknowledge his presence, his time, which I'm quite grateful for. And I also have to understand that he's also going through a lot of difficulty in his pathway as well. But I have to acknowledge that each and every one of our paths is quite different, and you cannot live your life like someone else. And as the host, I make it so important that we live our life as uniquely as we can, because no one has your life. You cannot try to do what someone else is doing, because we are not embedded with the same gift. I just had to take a moment there, remembering my first love, the queen of my heart, my mother. May her soul continue resting in peace. I know that you are watching over us, Mampele, and I think we can start it off on that note, Mangena. First of all, who are you?
I'd like to greet all your listeners. My name is Mangena, Koyana. I'm from Cape Town, Kukuletu. I'm a 30-year-old guy that's working for himself and for the community. I'm a person that's always innovated by new things, by how the day goes by, and by God himself. Yeah, that's who I am. I'm a grounded person, but at times we normally lose our ways. But I've learned that you can lose your way, but ask the Almighty to bring you back to your path. So I'm that kind of a person. Every time I lose my way, I always ask to be brought back.
Thank you for starting it off on that note, because that is one of the first things that I wanted to gain your insight about. Just for clarity to my audience, you lost your parents before me. I lost my mother in 2019. And one of the first things that I wanted to know, how was the very first weeks in dealing with that, because I know how you can become bewildered on what you need to do next in terms of, okay, where do I go from here onwards, especially as a person. So can you just give me like insight in terms of what thinking were you going through during that time when you were like, okay, now I no longer have my mother in my life, one of the most important pillars, because to me, I did feel like a part of me was taken away from me. But I had to remind myself as well that God can't take away without giving.
Yeah, man. First of all, before I lost my parents, I had friends. I was attending church. I grew up in church. Comforting friends that lost their parents and everything. For me, it was just normal comforting a person until it came to me. Me being comforted. The first day I lost my mom, I was at home doing dishes. So a friend of my sister came to fetch me to go to my mom's place. I'm like, I'm lost, what's happening? And my mom had cancer, a stomach cancer. So I went there. Then when I arrived, I was the one that was told to go in first at the gate. Like, okay, I went in. When I looked at the door, I'm like, what's happening here? Why are these mothers here? What's going on? So I went straight in.
So there were many people at the time.
Yeah. Went in, went to my sister's mom. I'm like, where's mommy? Where's mom? I looked at mom's room. She's not there. Looked at the other room. She's not there. I'm like, I turned to my big sister. I'm like, okay, where's mom? That's when they said, sit down. We have something to tell you. I'm like, guys, I'm fine. Just tell me where's my mom. So they told me while I was standing, that my mom passed on. And, it didn't click that time. They said mom has passed on. I'm like, okay, fine. Just went out again. Went back to where I was. Finished what I did. Just told my dad, Dad, I've just been told that mom has passed on. Like, it didn't enter in my mind that, nah, this is really happening. So I continued with my day. My sister came to fetch me. I'm like, where are we going?
Yes.
Then she told me, you have to go home to your mom's place. I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. But I don't understand what's happening. How come my mom, 1 minute she was here, the next she's not here? Let me go, I want to see her. They're like, we don't have a transport now. The mortuary people just came and fetch her now. I'm like,
so she was already in the room still?
Yeah. I'm like, how come you guys? Now, when I arrived, my mom, they've already transported my mom away. So I'm like, why did you guys give the mortuary people my mom without me seeing my mom first? They said, nah, it was gonna take time and all those kind of things. I'm like, okay, fine. But still it didn't ring in my mind that, yeah, mom is gone. Continued, just sat there. They were busy singing, worshiping, praying. I'm like, guys, you don't understand. I want my mom here. I left my mom here. Why are you guys making a noise now? I want to see my mom now. They were busy comforting and like, you guys are wasting my time. I want my mom. So, in a way, my heart was hardened by that. Because I couldn't believe how quickly it was for me to lose my mom. So the days passed by, there were services coming in. Then the day before the funeral, while family was preparing.
Yes.
You know how families are, especially on my mother's side, things were, we were gelling nicely, but when it comes to the preparations of the funeral, we were busy not talking the same language.
So everyone wants to have their opinion about what should happen from here onwards.
Yeah, and how it should happen, and all those kind of things. I was like, okay, guys, I don't care how you want everything to happen. What I want my church to bury my mom. That's all. You can do whatever you want to do, guys, but my mom will be buried by my church. because my sister doesn't have a church. She's married. She stays in Rustenburg, so she doesn't have a church here local. So she told me, I'm gonna give it over to my baby brother, which is me, on how to prepare for the funeral, the church and stuff. So I told them, nah, everything will be done at home. Nothing will be done at church. Only the church members will come and conduct the funeral service. So that's how it was, but it was really hard, especially on the day of the funeral. I was dressing up, and then I was told my mom has arrived. I'm like, what's the time? I didn't even look at the time. I was woken up, let me go and wash and stuff. So I was busy preparing, getting ready. Mom arrives, like, okay. So I had to hurry up. When I first saw her in that casket, you know, it's like, nah man, this woman is sleeping. She can wake up at any time.
So you would you say you were still in denial?
Yeah, I was in denial.
So you were still going through denial at that time?
Yeah.
Even after everything that has happened in terms of the funeral preparations, the services, to welcome her passing on, everyone fighting about how she should be buried, and everything else.
I was really in denial because, like, in my mind, I'm like, nah, my mom is gonna pitch up at any time. For me, when I see it now, it was a very learning curve. That fine, you might say, nah, it's not happening, but it's already done. You're gonna find time, you're gonna sit yourself down, and you're gonna get your thoughts together, and then you're gonna start thinking about your mom.
Yeah.
You see, you're gonna start thinking about your mom and say, like, mom, like, seriously, did you really do this?
What did she leave you with, would you say? At that moment when it started to click for you to say now she's no longer coming back, because I can relate in some sense that while the service was happening, I decided I'm not going to come through. I didn't even have the courage to go and see her body at the mortuary when they asked me to come see her, because I was thinking about the image that would stay in my mind after that, because now that's the reality. And the only time it actually hit me was when they started to literally like pour sand into a gravesite. That is when it actually clicked that I'm no longer going to be seeing that woman now. And what's really hard is that these women are strong women. They're beautiful, they've got a whole life ahead of them, but one thing that my mom did, which made me remember her like forever until now, it's her love, it's her laugh, it's her laughter. You know, her reprimanding me of certain things, and then I'd be like, nah, you're my mother at the end of the day. Even if you reprimand me, you're my mother. You know, it's that confident to say I have a mother. Yes.
Now my mother is no more. Who am I gonna turn to? I'm like, okay, I have a dad, but a dad's love and a mom's love aren't the same. A mom's love is very tender and gentle. Dad's love is very harsh. You see? So that's one thing that I miss about my mom. Even if I go through the wrongdoings, I would always run to her for help and for advice. Whatever that I go through, I would never talk to my dad. My dad was that kind of a guy that's like protocol. If you do bad, you're gonna get a bad punishment. And
so would you say your dad was hard on you?
was hard in a loving way. Yeah. He was not hard in a way that I can say I'm not his son. I am his son. His love was through being harsh for me.
Tough love is still love at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, you see? So that's one thing that I really miss a lot. And this past month, on the 31st of May, it was my mom's birthday. I just sat down and I was at work. You know, spiritually I was off, because I sat that morning before I went to work, remembered everything, every good thing and every bad thing that I've done, that she helped me out with, and all the ups and downs we've been through growing up until I became a man. So a mother's love, no matter where she is, it will always be felt. 6 feet, 3 feet, she will always be felt. That's why when the day ends, I always sit down and reflect on what I did on the day. How much did I remember my parents? How much did I remember the ones that loved me, but they are no more? It's all about keeping them in your heart, not in your mind. The mind forgets, but the heart doesn't. You see?
We bury someone today, and next day you've already forgotten about them.
You see?
And I think I just want to make this point about, if we stop trying to please people, we must just remember how easy it is for them to forget the people that have passed on.
Yeah, man.
If we could just dwell on that mind, then we would stop trying to please people so much, because like you said, the mind forgets, but it's the heart. And then that's one of my key important things. I want to live in people's hearts, because the mind forgets. You can meet me now, I can inspire you, and then the next day you've forgotten about me, you're back to default mode. But
man.
if I can be able to move your spirit, your heart, then you would always have those moments to know, even if I wanted to give up.
Yeah, man.
There's this person I met who reminded me of A, B, and C, and losing a parent is something that you never heal from.
Yeah.
Let me just make that emphasis as we move on to the next thing. Because now I want to find out, how is life after not having them around? Because remember, these people, the influence they had, the guidance they had, now no longer physically is there. And as a person, I'm quite sure now you are also struggling spiritually as well, and how do I put myself together again after all this? Well, because this woman was so important. And I think you went something that was very essential, and that was going through that denial. I also went through that as well, to deny, to say no, this has not happened. But then it has happened, because now you're seeing, okay, life, everyone is moving on now. Everyone is forgetting about this person and how important they were. And they carry on.
You're the only one left thinking about all these kind of things.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because the dangers in that is you stay too long in that state. And you forget you're still part of the living. Which is one of the most important things to me. To be like, it's my responsibility at the end of the day to pick up the pieces.
Man.
But then I cannot put a time frame in terms of how to grieve, how to deal with things, because there are days that come and it feels like this thing has happened right at that moment, and it feels like, I just lost this woman yesterday, and it can be years.
And we grieve for years, because I'm still grieving. Even if it happened 2019, I'm still grieving also. Lost my mom, then 10 months later, 10 days later, lost my dad. I'm like, what's happening? Why me? Like, why me? Because, fine, after telling my dad, I'm like, okay, at least I've got a support.
Now you went from losing your mom to losing your dad.
Yeah, in 10 months' time, 10 days
within a space of under 2 weeks.
Like seriously, guys, why me? How come everything just falls apart on me all at once? I'm still trying to recover from mom. Now I'm losing dad. Like, seriously, guys, am I the one with the bad luck, or are we calling it part of life? But for me, it's not part of life because it's happening quickly.
Do you think it would be different if it happened maybe over a short or even a longer period of time?
It would never made a difference, but it's just that still being in denial. You see? You were still,
you still hadn't digested the other one.
Yeah, now
all of a sudden there's another one.
You see? So my in denial picked up quite a lot. My dad, first, I was going to a friend of mine's wedding. I was a groomsman, so I was preparing. It was on a Saturday, preparing for the day. While I'm busy preparing, doing my hair, just called out, your dad just been struck by a Venza at my street. I'm like,
a mini taxi?
Yeah, a mini taxi. I'm like, what? He was walking in the pavement on the way to the shop.
So the car came to him?
Yeah. On his way back home, he's walking on the pedestrian way.
Yes.
A mini taxi out of the blue just gets
bang.
Then it broke his leg. We went to Mitchell's Heidefeld hospital, put him there. They did everything. So I went to see him. When I saw him, I'm very scared of people that are ill, because I just don't know what I'm gonna say, what to do. Because I'm gonna say, how are you doing? But I can see you're not doing well. You're not feeling fine.
But you were so used to comforting people.
Yeah, that's the thing.
What changed now?
Being comforted, I was like, guys, you playing with your time, guys. I want my parents. That's all. Don't want anything else. Your comfort, it's gonna come in one ear and get out the other ear. I just want my parents. And every time I always stay and look at the door as if it's gonna appear. Even on the day of the funeral, I was like, okay, I have to go through the same process that I went through with my mom. So I told myself, there's only one thing that's gonna help me, because I can see counseling will be something good for me, but I don't want to go counseling. Let my feelings be mine. Don't want to share my feelings, how I feel, what I'm going through, But what helped me is knowing that through Christ all things are possible. I prayed, asked God to help me with my hardened heart, so that I can understand. Actually, I'm not gonna be able to understand what happened. Let me accept.
Yes. So you were praying for an accepting heart.
Yeah. Because I was not gonna be able to hold them not to live.
It was not your decision.
No, I'm not God.
It was not your decision to make.
Nah.
Your decision was to accept things for what they were.
Yeah.
And for you to get an accepting heart so that you can have the ability to move on.
Yeah.
Back to what I said, that
we
are still part of the living.
Yeah. So that's really one thing that held me, it's Christ. Going to church, finding myself, reaching out to people. You know, every time I share my story with people, someone else is like, wow, this happened to me at a very, very young age. I was very young, but what you're saying, it's really getting to me now, that it is what it is. What God has put, God can take. So what we have to do, ask for the accepting heart. Ask for God to reveal to us that He's with us, even though we're going through this tough time. So yeah, and as for my dad, that man, he's one of the greatest men ever. He taught me how to be a man. You know, where I am, it's not by me, it's not by my power, it's not by my dad's power, but it's by God's power that I was able to become a man that can stand on his own without parents, being able to let people know that it's fine to lose people. Just ask God to give you an accepting heart. So that's me, man. That's me.
Thank you so much for sharing such a personal encounter that you've had with loss as well. I'm quite sure, as the maniacs can relate, some of us, I wouldn't even say some of us, all of us have lost someone who was dear to us. And in between those times, we didn't foresee ourselves being able to be in a position where we can live with life without them.
Yeah.
And I always believe that what doesn't kill you will only make you stronger.
Over.
And I think if we can always resonate with that fact that one day it's going to be us.
Wow. And it's going to be us.
And we're not going to be in that position to think, what could I have done differently? Because now I just want to make sure that with the time that God still gives me, because I like saying that the moment He wakes me up, He's not done with me.
Yes, man. Yeah.
He woke me up, namhlanje. He ain't
Not
done
by
with
your
me.
grace,
Not by my
His
grace. Yes, I did not decide to wake up.
Nah.
And
Others didn't make it.
exactly. And sometimes we forget that we are mortals. One day we're going to die.
Yeah.
One day we're not going to be here. And if we're going to continue to think that we're not, that is when we don't live life with urgency. That is when we survive instead of living. And before this whole debacle actually happened, because before 2019 happened, and before I started this podcast with just my phone, I've been talking about this for the past 3 years before then. But ultimately, you can talk about something, but eventually it has to get to a place where you start doing something about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So that comfort was them talking about it, but then you making sure that you ask for strength through Christ. That was your action.
Yeah.
It was talking about it wouldn't have helped.
Nah.
Eventually it does. It has its part. We're not saying not talking about your difficulties does not have its significance.
It does have.
But the most important thing is movement. It's action. What did you do about where you were?
Yeah.
So now I decided right at that moment that I will never let my mom's efforts go to waste.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And how do I do that? I start living a life that I can be proud of. Now I'm relating to the message that you sent me via WhatsApp.
Yeah, man.
On that voice note, to say that somehow you need her to visit you. Somehow you
Yeah.
need him to visit you.
I need that dream from him, from her. I need that vision. I just need her and him telling me what to do. You know, just when when you're sitting there in your bed, in your couch, you just feel nice. You feel that warmth. You're like, that's them. Then you get that nice, relaxed atmosphere. You're like, okay, wow, I can feel you guys. You are with me. That's something that's very rare for me. It's very rare.
Can I give you my opinion about that?
Yeah.
It's not gonna come when you want it or need it. It's gonna come when it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's gonna come when you least expect it. And what I want you to lead with is that you are in charge.
Yeah.
You are in control. And it's so important for us to do what intuitively we think is the most aligning thing based on what they've taught us. In some moments we must have reflections about what did this person teach me.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because I sometimes we get distorted about wanting that person to come visit us. Siliba Lebana, that person visits us all the time.
He and she are always there.
Yes, they're always there, but
need-
they're not going to come in the way that we picture them to do that. So, do you know how I make sure that I have her come?
How?
It's practicing what she taught me.
Okay.
What values did your father and mother instill in you that you need to practice? That's the only way you can be connected to them.
Yeah.
What did they pass on to you? So that thing is that it's gonna be an unlocking ability, but most importantly, you need to lead yourself
Yeah.
with those, because I see how hard things are out there. And at one point I used to blame my mom, why don't we have privilege? There's nothing wrong with privilege, but if it's not teaching you how to handle life struggles, I'm not the kind of man I am today. You're not this kind of man if you do not have them as parents.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were given everything. Now you don't understand that you have to work for your food.
Nah, man. I'll do all the bad. I'll do drugs because I've got everything on me. If I need this, then I know I'm gonna get it. So I'm just thankful to God that I'm not privileged. I'm learning how to make myself privileged. You see? Now that's one thing that I've learned. How to make myself privileged. Because the privileged ones that have everything in their families, that they always get everything easily, they're losing their lives to drugs, gangsterism, like bad things. Us unprivileged people like me, I'm like, I am me. I'm not gonna do drugs because I can see the privileged ones, they do drugs, and where do they get? Nowhere. What they do, they just pass on from drugs, or they go to jail. So I chose a life of being able to be me, to have to accept what I have and accept what I don't have.
Yes.
And try to build what I want from what I don't have. Because if you're not building,
You're destroying.
you're destroying. You see? That's how it is. If you choose life, it's either you're gonna choose to build or to destroy in this life. So I chose to myself to build. Build firstly my character. Because I've been a mess, I've done things, but I'm like, after my parents, I'm like, I've had enough. Don't have parents that I can run to when I've done bad. I'm all by myself. So let me start picking myself up, trying to reach each and every goal that I've planned for myself from high school, actually from primary. You see, we have goals, we have visions, we have dreams that we set them at primary, because at grade 7 you are told what do you want to be. You see. So for me, let me channel my childhood vision. Let me be what I wanted to be when I was a kid with my parents alive. Let me put myself back there. I wanted to be this when I was young. I wanted to be this. Now, I don't have them to motivate me. Let me motivate myself. Because no one else is going to motivate me.
Self-start machine. Become the self-start machine.
Yeah. They say most a dog doesn't bite a standing car. It bites a running car. So, for me, I'd rather not be with the dogs. I don't want to be with the dogs. So let me do what? Let me start my engine.
Yes, man.
Let me start my engine.
Yes,
and let
man.
them follow me. Because when you have people that are talking behind your back, you know you're doing something great.
There's a reason as well that they're behind your back.
Yeah, because they can see the greatness in you that you're trying to achieve for yourself, and they're trying to pull you back. You must sit with them. Every time the sun goes north, you must turn north. Every time the sun turns south, you must turn south. So I like, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got rid of it. Now it's time to dust myself off. Do something that they've never thought I would do. Go find work. I'm old enough.
You
I've
also
got
have a brain.
ID, I've got everything. Let me go find work. Start working for myself and for my home. I'm privileged because I'm left with a house. I can call it's a family house, but I can call it my house because I'm the one maintaining it. You see? So those are other things that motivate me.
Teachable moments.
Yeah, I have a house that I didn't build. I just saw it there. So what can I do to make it great? How can I make my home be felt, be warm, all on my own? Because you can build something, the devil is gonna try and destroy it. Because I'm trying to build something, the devil is busy destroying something else. And I'm like, fine, you can destroy.
But I'll continue building.
I'm not gonna stop. Because the strength that God has gave me is not the strength to destroy, it's the strength to build. So each and every time I always wake up and try and make a conscious decision to be a good person.
Very important.
To be able to bring something home, no matter how small it is. And at all of those, be myself. That's all that I can say.
You made a very important point about who you keep around.
Yeah.
You can't be a builder and be around destroyers.
Destroyers, nah.
You can't even build around jealous people,
Nah.
because you know what? One thing I've picked up about unsuccessful people is that they have all the reasons why things won't work out.
Oh, you can say that again, man. You can say that again. Like, nah, I'm short of this, I'm short of this. I'm like, dude, you have hands, you have eyes, you've got legs. Start somewhere. For you to get somewhere, you must start somewhere. You can't start with an excuse and expect to get somewhere.
Tell me of anyone who succeeded by making excuses.
Like, if you make an excuse, the result of an excuse is another excuse. You see? From excuse to another excuse. So, teach yourself to know that you've got power in your hands, you've got power in your body to do what God has given you. Don't just always complain, nah, this is wrong, nah, this is wrong, nah, I don't have this. We're not going to do nothing about it.
Watch your vocabulary.
Your mistakes are your mistakes.
Yeah, and it's up to you to rectify those mistakes. You wouldn't be human if you didn't make those mistakes.
That's why I say I always sit at the end of the day and reflect on the day. What did I do good? Where can I correct? So the next day when I wake up and tell myself, I'm going to be a good person. I'm going to try and fix where I couldn't. But at the end of the day, let me enjoy my day. Because if you don't enjoy your day, from morning, the whole day sucks. If you don't give yourself that mind that today is gonna be a good day, then where are you going? Give yourself that, just that. If you say today's gonna be a good day, and I'm gonna be a good person, everything changes. The atmosphere changes. The energy changes. It's like now in winter season, it's very hard to wake up in the morning for work. You see, it's very hard. So what I normally do, just switch on the heater in my room. Just want to make sure that the room is warm enough for me to wake up. Because if I don't, then I'm gonna be lazy to wake up. So just fill yourself with those warm words that I can do it. I'm gonna be a good person. If you tell yourself that, then you're gonna kick those blankets away. And every time you wake up, just say, thank you, Lord. That's all.
Thank God for the day.
For He knows. He knows your whole life. He knows everything you're thinking. So just say, thank you, Lord, for this day. It might go bad, but thank you, Lord. You're teaching me something. Yeah, man. So that's me.
Maniacs, I hope this has been something that you can relate to. That when you wake up in the morning, it's important for you to affirm yourself positively.
Yeah, man.
I have routines as well before I go to work.
Yeah.
I work out.
Yeah.
While I'm working out, I play meditation music or affirmations to tell me that today is going to be a good day.
Yes.
I'm going to do my best. Even through my worst, I'm still the best. There is a reason why I'm still alive. And this is a day that God will never ever give me again.
Yeah.
Because you're forgetting in most instances that you are making history every day.
Yeah, man.
We are part of history. This day is a day we'll never have again in our lives.
It's something to be remembered.
Yeah, while we're doing this, and I like dwelling on izinto that will empower us as people.
Yeah.
And yes, I think you will never be ready as a person if you don't avail yourself to such stuff, because successful people or people on their way to success, they don't thrive on putting others down, but instead they want to build others up. Like you said, you are a builder. God gave you the ability to build, while Satan is destroying, and he's recruiting a lot of them. They are in numbers. Yes,
especially
you must get them while they're young. Get them while they're young. Because I always talk about how many decisions I had to make to say this inner circle that I'm in now is not going to take me to where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
These people don't understand how important it is for me to believe in myself. And if you are seeing that as a threat, then what are you doing near me?
Yeah.
If I'm not getting better because of having you in my life, then what are you doing in my life?
Yeah, man.
So I really treasured the conversations we had when we had nothing. You were working at one point at a warehouse, and you always used to come to me, and the words you were always talking about is, it's so fulfilling to spend my money with someone who doesn't make me feel like I owe them something.
Yeah, man.
Because I think a lot of people think you owe them something. You owe yourself everything, eh?
I owe myself
before you owe anybody else. Because like you're saying, you're the one who has to kick those blankets and wake up.
And at the end of the month, I'm the one that has to go to the bank and press those pins, those numbers. You're like, yeah, now it's that time. And when it's month end, they know it's month end, and the devil will try by all means for you to misuse that money. At one point, I got paid, finished all my money on alcohol. Drank till the morning came. Because I don't know if it was a certain situation that I was going through. I was trying to forget some things. See? So like, nah.
Did you end up forgetting after the money was eaten?
Oh no.
Of course.
Oh no.
My friend made a point before you continue. He said that even after you have done drinking, the problems are still there waiting for you.
Dude. And they like looking you in the eye. Like, yeah, we're here.
We're still here. You
drank,
thought that you were...
You left us at home. You went and drank outside. You're going to come back and sleep at home.
Exactly.
And when you wake up at home,
we're gonna be here
the first
waiting
thing you're
for
going to
you.
see, it's us. We're here.
Like, nothing got solved.
Nothing solved, bro. So I like, the following month, I was like, nah, let me just
Tone it
down, bro. Because I thought they're going to pass on. They didn't. So I like, nah, let me just pick myself up. What I did, let me not do it again. Let me start at home, do what I have to do at home, then do me. Do my problems, solve them. Then when I've got them solved, I am relaxed. There's nothing else that's left for me not to do. I can do whatever with my money because I've sorted everything out. That's how it is. Sort your problems out so that you're gonna be chilled, bro. Because if you don't fix them, they're gonna pile up. And when they pile up, whoa, a lot, especially when they fall. They're not just gonna pile up non-stop. They're gonna pile up at some point. They're gonna fall all at once. And where you're gonna start? Nowhere, because you're gonna be lost. Like, here comes this problem, here comes this one. Here. You end up committing suicide because now they've come at a great pace that you're not expecting. Because one is busy shoving the other problem in your face. One problem is shoving one problem in you.